Hey, we're live. Welcome everybody to TFC Live Season 3, Episode 37. This is the September's post-raid review and the FM update. Good evening, Robin. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well, thanks.
Super duper. Okay, and Ren's there as well. Hello, buddy.
Hello, can you see me? Hi.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Yeah. Can we just start with, phew, it's over. We're done. Okay, that's take 5. We're done. No more, please. Okay. Raid has finished. It was a long one. What did you think, guys, generally? Robin?
It was a great raid for me.
A good raid for you, yeah. Robin's had a different experience this weekend. That's why I thought I'd just ask, how was your raid, Robin?
Oh, it was very short, but no.
Why was your raid short, Robin? You posh lady.
Rue had a spa weekend.
Rue had a spa weekend. All right then.
Yeah.
She's a posh pirate.
No, I started on Sunday night and blasted through it, but I liked it. It was stable. I didn't have any Grease Monkey crews or any of the big crews. I was just using little crews and did pretty good. I did have to drive to compensate for that, but I enjoyed it. There was a lot of stuff on offer, a lot of stuff for a lot of the old players for older hulls. And so I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, I must admit. And consistent again. And new targets. I like the new targets in T8. I like the way they keep cycling those through. But we'll get on to it. Right, let's do some slides because we've got a few tonight because there's been some interesting developments and some nice updates. So that should be it, up and running. There we go. So title screen as per normal, just so we've got a reference point. And there we go. So slide back tonight contains, as we said, then the raid review from Robin, a content update, which is going to go live literally in 1 hour's time in game. That's when the game updates itself. It should be 4 p.m. Obviously Cali time, which is midnight, obviously UK time. And then obviously some new FM content, which we need to discuss a little bit. There, the VXP weekend, this weekend coming, okay, as it sort of says there in the middle or the bottom as well. And then we've got 3 TLCs, one really, really important one. I'm just going to flag up the art showcase because there's a Bounty 14 hint in there as well. And then we've got some bug fixes to finish off. So the speed of 1,000 gazelles, let's start, shall we? Right, straight into it. Robin, all yours.
Okay. Well, obviously, this was the Rare Destruction. Started on Thursday. We had a huge prize list, including an interesting choice this time around. 2 different hulls, obviously, for the skirmish raid. Your choice, you could go either up the left or the right side of the ladder. So you could choose whichever one kind of tickled your fancy, and then the second one will be available later on in the game. Outside of that, everything else was available for all players without being locked, so no restrictions on that. So let's get into some of the things that we saw. Targets and fleets, the points payouts haven't changed. That was pretty static, which was really good. I thought the value for the points was good. I actually did a little bit better this time. I'm not sure if it's because the targets were different or if it was because I was just actually driving more, but I thought they were easier to manage. There still was a little bit of a difference, at least from my perspective, using the missile hull. It did better in one target and a little less better in the other target, but overall I was running pretty much the same repair time all the way through unless I really ballsed something up, so I thought that was okay. Players with manties or partial manties, of course, they did the TLC, the co-op TLC, where we were able to help other players get manticores and tokens and stuff like that. They were able to do some of the lower targets, and of course that also allowed you to prep for the lower levels as well. And one thing I will give Kix props for with these sets of targets, with the way they did the buildings and the turrets and that kind of stuff. I don't know about you guys, but prepping for me was just a breeze for this.
Yep, I have to say, fully agreed. I did all my main account with prepping and nothing but mostly. And I literally ran a Grease Monkey crew, and I managed to get 140 million for 140 million. No, more than that. About 140 million. 63 million for one guy, basically, in my alliance, who had like 2 million points, and he literally had a morning to do it. And then we managed to put on one Grease Monkey crew, and we got him up to get the hull. So that wasn't bad going, to be honest. All prepping on one crew, so I was quite content with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really, really like that, and hope they continue with that. And then the other thing that kind of happened this time around, not sure if it's just because people had time to refit. Kix has been putting in for the last two, I think this was number 3. Maybe this was the second, but they were putting in the TLC for the Skyfire tokens in the raid, and they've done this for the last couple of raids. So folks that were either just returning or very, very far behind had the ability to do these TLCs and get a boatload of tokens. I think, what was it, like 89 days worth or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, you maxed out basically, didn't you, if you'd done it before?
Yeah. So it gave those folks the ability to go ahead and finish their Skyfire fleets. I know a lot of folks were running around with, they have like the fleet half built but not have any armor, and so they were taking huge amounts of damage charged because there's no armor on there, or they'd have like one piece of charged armor on there. So having that TLC gave them the opportunity to fully armor their fleets and get a whole lot of points just grinding out targets. And there were some folks that actually posted some videos. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the person, and I think Mark, you did the same thing as well, where you were just tearing around hitting the level 65 target.
Yeah, I was. I have to say, I was did quite a bit of seat time, so I blasted on my main account as much as I could, and then I caught somebody who was. It was a video. I watched somebody doing the tier 6 set with Skyfires, and I went, "Hang on a minute, that's a really good idea." And I looked and added it up, and I thought to myself, right, actually, because the tier 665 was worth 300k, and it was so quick to do, you could just literally with a speed crew as well, you can zip down through between this gap and then speed up to the right hand top left. And by that time, that Kodiak wasn't going to come and fire its ice ball at you, and you managed to chain and kill it. So literally, it was like 45 seconds, and the target was killed. So literally, I managed to get 15 million within the hour, and then just go and fix the flagship, and then literally come back an hour and a half later, and then do another 15 million. And I got 180 million with one target using Skyfires.
Nice. Yeah. So there were a lot of people that were doing that. I saw when I wasn't at the Spa weekend and on the game, I saw a lot of folks doing the same thing. And I also saw people that were using like single manties or one or two manties that were actually picking off bits and pieces of the 112, and then I think it was like 380. Was either 380 or 480k that they were going in, sneaking some pieces and doing that for instant repair on the map. So there were. I will say this: there were options. It wasn't a case of where you either could or you could not. There were options for people to be able to do for this raid. So. Props to Kix for doing those TLCs. We know that, and we'll see these a little later on in the slides, that we've got other TLCs coming up for some of the other older hulls for the skirmish raid. So I hope they continue that so that it does give people the opportunity to be able to, get those tokens and complete their fleets if they don't have them, or maybe refit their fleets if they're not completely done.
Yep. Cool. Time to kill. Keep the targets the same. They're nice and swift, some of them. Even for the top level tier 8 stuff, rather than those massive drive around siege ones, these were bang on, I thought personally. Yes,
liked the time to kill. The only thing that frustrated me, and then finally I stopped doing it because I realized it didn't really make that much of a difference. I was, tagging to make sure that my red ring was up, and then I'm like, okay, it's a whole whopping 10 minutes difference per target. So I just finally gave up on that. But I was averaging probably. And even prepping, I was averaging right at around, I want to say 5 minutes, maybe 5.5 minutes per target.
That's pretty decent, isn't it?
Yeah. So, if you could get it around 5, if you had, like a crew, then you could figure out, okay, I can get X many targets out of this crew and figure out, your point to time ratio. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was, you're right. Right, next one. Oh, yes, important.
Yes. And this was really good. I'm not sure when this was announced, but basically, Kix decided that if you redeemed the Bat Ray or the Razortail blueprint, that is the hull blueprint, they are awarding a free blank hull of whichever one you chose. So if you chose the Razortail, you were getting a free Razortail hull. And I think it was supposed to be 48 hours of the event closing. But Ren, did you just say you already have yours?
I was just trolling the guys in comms who
I know.
were
I was watching.
saying, "Oh, where's my ship?" And when like, no, nobody has a ship.
Okay. So
Because I said 48 hours after raid ended, which lands us on Friday around the time the XP weekend starts.
Funny that.
But they will try to do it a bit earlier if they can.
yep.
But
And
nobody
even,
has a ship right now.
yeah,
And it's blank, folks. It's blank.
yes.
What? No guns, no engine.
No, it's blank.
Does it come with paint?
Blank.
Yeah. What will be interesting though is if, so I guess everybody's going to have to think about this. You want to make sure that your shipyard's 3 so that if it is a blank hull, you can at least take 30 seconds to throw a thud on it so that you can throw it into a VXP target and that you're not blocked into like a 2-day build.
Stop holding all those knackered holes you really don't need, and you just because you built them 2 years ago and it cost you a lot to build them, there's no point keeping them. It's a waste of freaking time. Get rid of the dumb things.
Yep. Make sure your shipyard's free so that if it is naked, you can go ahead and throw something on it to do VXP. And if it doesn't happen until later in the day, if they follow the normal VXP process, the larger targets are going to be there until Saturday night anyway. So, I would not start your VXP with 3 or, that kind of stuff, especially if you've only got like 1 grease monkey, because these are going to take a little bit to repair. But so good on your kicks. It was nice thing for them. I know there were some people that actually already built their 4, like Ren. But for those of us that did start late, the ability to only have to build 3 of them versus 4, knowing that other one's coming, I thought was really good.
Cool.
And when they say blank, I suppose there's going to be a third one. Otherwise, they're breaking the rules of the game. You can't have a ship with no weapons. So I'm assuming there's going to be a third one in there.
One would hope.
We'll soon find out.
And guys, we don't know if it's going to let people go over dock limit. So make sure you have room for 1 ship in your dock. Delete some old stuff. That's what we've been saying. I'm just repeating because Hefe asked on chat.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Don't trust on it letting you go over limit. Make room.
If you've got that many ships, something's really going crazy wrong in your dock.
Because I like my Preds.
Get rid of that junk.
Delete that Predator. Delete that Seawolf. Whatever. Delete that DNX or that MCX or whatever.
Somebody showed me their dock today, their contents. I was laughing. It was hysterical. There's all tier 5 freaking conquerors and stuff like that. I was like, get rid of it all for God's sake.
See, Candy Apple just said, Laredo confirmed we have to have dock space.
Good.
Yeah, I actually boxed myself into a corner where I had my storage yard was full, and so my dock was full, and I needed to build something really cool. And I was like, sorry.
With what? Well, I've got 85 ships. That's it. That's all I've got.
Because I save them until I need like res. No, I save them until I need res, and then I can just go smash, and then I've got enough to build the hull. But anyway, so I'd put everything in.
Oh, we have a new guy watching the show today, Maddie. See, I met him during the raid. Cool guy. Just watching the show today live.
All right. Welcome, buddy.
But so I'd put all of my stuff in storage place, and then it was like, well, so then I'm gonna have to like delete something really good in order to be able to pull something out of storage and start playing the Tetris with the ships. But yeah, don't do what I did. But
let me in your dock for half an hour. I'll sort your problems out. Don't worry about it.
No, I like my Preds. Thank you very much. Okay, so points. As per usual, we've stayed with the 2.5 million for each elite target, and then the set bonus of the 5 million, and the rest of it has stayed static as well. So nice to see that that's pretty much staying the same, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, and good consistency. Yeah.
Yes.
I like the time to complete as well. The targets are pretty much all doable in about 5 minutes. That to me is the sweet spot. I hope they keep it like that.
Yes.
I'm saying that because last year's skirmish raid was a nightmare with the elite targets taking up to 12 minutes to finish.
Yeah, shoot me now. As much as I like driving subs, yeah, it was way too long. But not everybody can drive them and take the time like Liam can. So prizes. I figured out that if you got one of everything, of all the new stuff, which included all of the new turrets, not tokens, but just turrets, and then the hull, the ship, and the special, that was about 296 million for the new stuff. And I want to say that that's actually a little bit lower than normal for a tech store, or am I missing something here? Didn't it wasn't last time like 350 million?
I'd like to agree with you or deny.
I want to say it was like, I just remember 300 and something, but 296 million for all the new stuff. Of course, you didn't have to get all of the new stuff. You didn't have to get 4 of every turret. Obviously, your max for your bonus is 8. However you chose to do those, you get 2 of these, 3 of those, that kind of stuff. So you didn't have to get all of them. But if you did, it would have been 296 million. Still had the limited tech to the elite targets. We still also had the shard lotto, which at one point there I was opening chests and it was like 7 or 8 of them. I got the same thing and it's like, oh, shoot me now. So not happy with that. There was a good selection of prizes geared towards the next raid, even for the lower level fleets. Touched on this earlier. There was a lot of stuff in there for Hunters and Fangs sub stuff, as well as Houndstooth, Depth Charge, those types of things. So good mix of things for folks that are still building those fleets. And they had their tokens. I think we're all pretty much resigned to the fact, however unhappy we are with it, that we're not going to get the general tokens. But they did keep the Manti tokens at 4 million. So people who maybe were kind of like finishing off their fleets from the TLC could get those. And they also still had the Dragon tokens. I snapped up those as well because I'm refitting the armor on those. So I was happy to see those tokens that were in there.
Yep, it was good. And it's still overpriced titanium and uranium. But there we go. But it's there.
Yep.
On titanium and uranium, I just want to say, I got a lot of it from running expeditions throughout the raid. I started the day before the raid, and I had a steady income of all 3 resources, so I didn't have issues with that during the raid.
Did you actually run out though? Because I didn't even run out during the whole raid. I was quite surprised.
I was by today. I was almost like dry on titanium. That was my only problem. Uranium was okay. The parts I have over 1 million, but titanium was running dry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I actually started a longer build. So I had, and it's still going actually, it'll finish here in about a day. So I wasn't worried about titanium, and like I said, didn't have any crews, but was doing okay when I started. So I didn't even bother rolling anymore. But okay, bugs. Sunken ships were still causing targeting movement issues, and this is really kind of annoying considering it was brought up at the very beginning of the cycle. They did fix some other things, but it was really frustrating continuously dealing with that. The dead spots within the target, I know they corrected some of those, but I found a new one. I think it was in like the 114. It was like this little black hole of thou shalt not click your mouse there, which was rather annoying. And in the beginning, the locator was borked. It was sending you to targets to out of sector. I noticed, and of course we brought this up to Kex, and they did say that there was a bit of I think along the lines of a disconnect between the refresh rate when targets respawned. And so it was like a stale target that was already there. I did finally figure out, like in the last hour of the raid, that if there were 2 targets, if not, I'm looking for a 112, if you clicked the second version, normally the one that's further away from you, that was the one that was closer to you. But it was really annoying seeing that, you're clicking the target, the next thing you know, it's like, 37 seconds to get out to that target, and it's like 2 sectors over. So that was...
mine was exactly that. I was actually in the middle of the sector, and mine was going to one to the left sector and one to the right sector, nothing in my own sector. I was like, that's just so annoying.
Well, yeah, and then when you look back at your ship and you realize that the 112 that you're looking for is sitting right next to your ship and it isn't even showing up on the locator. But I know there were some people that were in some busy sectors. I mean, obviously this is a tech raid, so of course everybody's out there trying to get a gazillion points. There's always a lot more people on for a lot longer time period during tech raids, with those that are getting help and there's those that are playing catch up. I know there were some sectors where people were frustrated and saying that they weren't seeing a whole lot of targets. Now, I don't know if that was a product of having the 2 older targets out on the map as well, maybe restricting the amount of the 112s and the 114s. But that might be something that needs to be looked at. I mean, it was nice to have those older targets there for people. You didn't get the set bonus, but if you could do the old 104 or whatever it was, then you could do that. But not if it's blocking the other targets.
In the live stream I did for the first hour, I went and hit each one of those there, and it was exactly the same damage all the way through. So I didn't see the point of them, to be honest. They were no harder. They were less hard than the ones that were live each month as it went along. So I did the 4, and I did a 6 and 8, and I went up through the set, and the damage was exactly the same right across all of them, because I was checking consistency as well, sort of stuff, and seeing as they were then doing a random drop for a shard as well, because that was the enticement, wasn't it? You would actually go and get exactly what you wanted. There was no requirement then to hit those targets, because you're do 2 of those, you need to do 4 to do the same as doing the S set. So it didn't see the benefit of it this time, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of liked that, knowing I could go over there and get those missile defense system 3 things. But that was gone, and that ties into the whole lotto thing. But and I also heard some reports. I just literally right before the show got the Chrome update, whether I wanted it or not. But I know there were some folks that were saying that they were having some issues. There were some people, I guess, that couldn't even get into the game for a while. I know I had 2 or 3 in my alliance that were completely down, either through Facebook or through Kicksai. So if that were 2 providers, but folks not being able to get. This isn't the puffin issue for iPad. These are folks that were on desktop. So did either of you 2 hear any of that?
No, losing you there a little bit there.
You went Daft Punk on us for a few seconds.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. You went a little bit Dalek, but you're back again now, so that's good. Yeah, basically the Chrome update, if you didn't get it sorted out. However, I do like the fact that Kick's engineers came around with a thing that you could just literally hit the button, it installs it, and mine worked straight away, instantly. I had no dramas whatsoever. So even on the games room thing as well. So I was pleased with that. But I think they needed to do that, because then they would lose revenue. So, but we won't talk about the BP app, and then we won't talk about Photon and that sort of stuff, because yeah. Right. Okay. Moving on. Here we go.
Yep. And just for future heads up, am I clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've moved the mic. But just for future heads up, obviously we talked about this earlier. There will be a TLC for you to do the other side of the ladder tree. So if you got the Razortail and all its toys, you have the opportunity to do the TLC to get the Bat Ray and all of its toys. Just kind of think about this. If you're someone that maybe just got the hull and that was all that you got, you may have the opportunity to go ahead and finish that TLC. And if we follow the logic that Kix has done in the past, it will require Manticore fleets to do that TLC. So don't stop building your Manticore fleet. If you've need to put armor on 2 of them, continue to do that. I know people are just like, well, whatever, I'm not going to do titanium. But if those hulls are needed for that TLC and you're missing a couple of the components, then continue that fleet so that you can do that TLC. And again, skirmisher cycle is starting in October, so this is the first cycle of the new raid, and so we're all kind of starting with a level playing field with new ships, new toys, and new targets. And I think we'll see I guess an example of the new target, which will be the VXP weekend coming up this Friday. So I think that was it. Oh, there was one thing that I missed in the bugs that I forgot to put in there. One of the things that was really annoying to everybody was that when you completed one of the elite targets, it was paying out like 2,498,000 or something like that, and you were short. I don't know if you noticed this towards the end, but by the time I started, they were actually paying out over 25 or 2.5.
Yeah, they overstocked, didn't they? Which is nice, because that's what I'm saying. It was 300, because it said 300, and it was actually 310k for the 65.
Not even K, 310 points.
Yes.
It was 2,499, 600 and something. So it was 310 points.
Yeah,
it was good.
So thanks to Kix for fixing that part the way through, because if it takes you 10 sets of targets to do something and then you find out you're 100k short, it's rather annoying.
Well, especially when it's 15k for this, 15 million for this and 10 million for that and that sort of stuff. It's exact numbers, and you need those exact numbers. And
and I like it being exact numbers. Makes it easy for you to know how many targets you got to hit. But you're right. Then at the end, you're lacking 2k points.
Yeah.
Well,
and you got to go and find a 60, a 40, something to hit just to round it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to talk about the popularity of the Bat Ray versus the Razortail?
We are in a second when we get to that slide. Well, you are.
Okay. Sorry, boss.
Yeah, we are. No, definitely. Go and check the figures quickly, Ren, if you won't mind, on our thingy.
I checked a few hours ago. Let me go
right.
check the poll again.
Okay. Cool.
Because I have some numbers to share.
Super duper. So yeah, skirmish cycle. That's the date of the start. It should be. The raids now should be the first week of each month. So I zip forward, and the Thursday, it's the 4th. So that should be us. Okay. Bear that in mind, and that should be it from this point going forward from now on, which should be good. Right. Happy, Robin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah, there was some good, there was some bad. But I think the good for the most part outweighed the bad with what we had to deal with. And
let's be honest, if it's not sorted by the 5th time, something's really wrong.
yeah. Well, and I I really do. The whole free hull thing, I think, was a really good. You call it PR or whatever, but
there's some player first moments almost popping up, isn't there? Which is nice. No, there are, which is good. Right, this is a slide for Ren. This is Ren's one. So basically, we're going to discuss a little bit about where we're going in the future, and you need to know where you're going in the future because obviously you need to pick a hull. You know, if you don't pick a hull now and make a start, you're going to miss the VXP weekend, and then you're not going to have ranked ships. So there's no point waiting until TLC turns up because otherwise you can't get the second one as well, just in case you might need it at some stage down the line. Ren, if you're there, over to you, mate.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Guys watching live, just in chat, just type down the hull you picked during the raid. Bat Ray or Razortail. What did you get? Just type it in. In the meantime, I'll say everything indicates, to my surprise, that the Bat Ray was the most popular hull by a wide margin. And I'll tell you, we had a poll up on the TFC page, and 280 people said they got the Bat Ray versus 225 people got the Razortail. So the Bat Ray wins. I also posted 2 videos on my channel, one showing potential builds for the Bat Ray, one for the Razortail. And if I look at the last 48 hours, the Bat Ray video has 35% more views than the Razortail video. Again, indicating more interest for the Bat Ray. And even talking to folks in the Forsaken Council page and My Alliance and Sector Chat and everything, it seems a lot more people went the Bat Ray route. And when I ask people why, the most common reasons are A, the Bat Ray has longer range, 93 versus 68. The Bat Ray does damage underwater with its weapon without needing a special. The Razortail needs a special to do damage underwater because the rockets don't. They're surface weapon, right? And the Bat Ray has that aura that melts away the smart torpedoes that create cryofields to slow you down. The Razortail doesn't have that. So people were concerned that the Razortail was going to be a dud. And then they went the safe route of the Bat Ray. You know, but on the upside, as TSM wrote on the chat, it seems a lot of people this month were able to redeem one of the hulls. So I think I'm thinking we're going to see the highest number of people ready for a raid, a first cycle, you know, that we've seen in a long time. I'm kind of optimistic about that.
Yeah.
I think everyone in my alliance and in our junior alliance and a lot of, you know, we're getting the new hull. Maybe I'm biased because I'm in a very active group, but my impression, even TFC and whatnot, is like a lot of people were able to get the new hull. One of them.
Everybody that was active in my alliance as well, and mine's a small alliance, bar one who was only on for a little tiny bit, has got at least the hull, and everybody bar that other one has got the whole weapon and the special.
Right.
And that's a small alliance like mine. I've only got 40 odd members, so.
Yeah. And now, folks, because we're going to have VXP weekend and we'll see a skirmish target there, just look at these ships you see at the bottom of the slides in there. We have the slides locked in the presentation, right, TSM?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So just a quick summary of a longer thread, and if you want to read the whole thing, is on the forum. It's called a Skirmish Strategy Guide. I recommend people read that, and I posted that as pictures on TFC too. So the little battle cruiser on the left, easy to kill, don't worry much about that, blah, blah, blah. The Hunter, it's a durable ship, so you gotta kite it. Keep it at max range. If you let it get too close, it's gonna do more damage. Stay at max range and just kite it until you kill them. The Proto-Nemesis is kind of static, but it fires that rain of mortars that will leave a trail of cryofields, and the cryofields will slow you down huge. So ideally you want to either swerve left or right and avoid them, or you just want to have enough gales on your fleet to kill all the mortars, like we were doing with gluttonies in the last cycle, in the uranium targets we have on the map now. Then we have the interdictors. Those are the guys, when you see the interdictor, they fire the smart torpedoes. The smart torpedoes are different than regular torpedoes. They're bigger, they're shiny, and they'll follow you from a very long distance, and they'll track you down, and when they explode, they will leave a cryofield. So the bat ray can dissolve those torpedoes, and the Razortail, I suppose, has to kill them, like with weapons, right? You can't dissolve that. And then we have the Reapers. So the Reapers, what Kixeye said, they are very durable when they are submerged. So the bat ray will have a hard time killing those Reapers because they're very, very high resistance underwater. When they surface, they're easy to kill. And that's where the Razortail has that aura to force them up so you can kill them fast. The other information about the Reaper is that it has a minimum range. So if you actually put your fleet on top of a Reaper, it will not fire at you at all. So that's another strategy. You want to kite the Hunters. You want to kill the interdictors as fast as you can so they stop firing smart torpedoes. And you want to sit on top of the Reapers so they don't fire at you. And you want, of course, make them surface if you can. Now, one thing that's just a theory. I was talking to another player earlier today. It's our Reapers, they take damage underwater, even from surface weapons. If you guys remember the old Reapers that we had, they have a statistic. It's there at the center. No, it's on the left of the slide. Yeah, left. It says submerged defense 95%. That's at R10. So the Reapers, even underwater, will take damage from surface weapons. If that's the case, the rockets from the Razortail might be damaging the Reapers when they're underwater, even if you don't have hydro shells.
Should be damaging, yeah.
Should, if they're like ours, right? But remember, they're very high resistance, so both will have a hard time killing them. The only advantage I think the Razortail has is that it does a lot more DPS at a shorter range than the bat ray, right? I mean, those rockets, they do a block of, like, huge block of damage, and we learned recently there's no splash fall off. So the damage they do at the point of impact is the same damage they do at the end of the splash. So it's unlike any other rocket or mortar where there's a fall off. As far as I know, all others do. This one doesn't.
Yeah, an example of that is the twin fire, which says 75%, whereas this is 100% across all splash range. So,
yeah, I wish that statistic was visible for every splash-based weapon. So if anyone from Kixeye ever watches this, please, please, please make that stat visible.
It's now really important, particularly in this raid set. And
it's always important. I mean, when you have a splash weapon, in PvP, you're trying to counter a deflection. So you gotta know, I mean, what's the splash fall off? Is it 50%, 75, 25, 0? Makes a huge difference.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's it. I hope, again, people, go read the thread on the forum about Skirmish Strategy Guide.
Yeah, so I've posted it in the chat there. I've posted a link direct to that discussion on forums as well.
Awesome.
So save that link, guys. Click on it, save it in your obviously your browser, and then pop and look at it because it's quite important. I mean, those pictures I've snagged from it, and the ones on the bottom there. But you know, that's looking across from the battleship across to obviously the Reaper. That's the difficulty level in killing and the damage that they kill out as well. So
yeah, the two tricky guys, and the way people will know if that is a Razortail friendly or a Bat Ray friendly target, it's based on what you find in the target. If you see Interdictors, it's a Bat Ray friendly target, and it's going to be hard for the Razortail. If you see Reapers, it's going to be friendly to the Razortails, hard for the Bat Rays. That's the cue.
And I guess the big $1 million question that everybody wants to know is, how much is that extra charge going to be for doing that one? And we've been saying it on the page, and I had a discussion with somebody about it the other night as well, that there is going to be a difference, and you guys talked about this before, that if you're using one fleet for both targets, it's going to cost you more repair time, but that does not mean that you have to build both. It does not mean that you're not going to be able to complete both targets to get the bonus. Mm-hmm. There is going to be a reward for those that take the time, effort, coin, tokens, whatever, to build both fleets. But the targets are supposed to be tuned to where one fleet of one type will be able to complete them.
Yeah, I've already got a sneaky plan with the target that's not favorable.
And here's a plan B. I don't know if that's your sneaky plan, TSM, but it's like, let's say I have the Razortail. If I can do the Razortail target cheap, but the Bat Ray friendly target damages my Razortails way too much, I can just keep doing the Razortail friendly target.
Yep. Or you can stack it and do a bunch of the Razortail friendly ones and then throw your Grease Monkey on and do the other ones.
Or have an alliance mate with the Bat Rays and we tag team.
Yeah. I mean, that was my preference, Robin. Sorry, that was exactly it. Was go and smash a stack load of one target, the difficult one, with the Grease Monkey on, and then slow do the other ones because they're much cheaper to do anyway. So you don't need the Grease Monkey as much.
Great idea.
Yep.
So that evens it out because I'm expecting a 2-to-1 ratio roughly. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I have no idea, but that would be my estimate. So that the average target comes out the same as what it's cost us in this raid. You know, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think just because we've got, some choices now, I don't think it's going to be a cheaper raid in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Now, I want to put things in perspective, right? Now, I mean, we had 5 months of assault raid. Month number 5, now September, the best guys were doing the set for 2 coins. Right? I was doing the set for 3 coins, 4 sometimes. But if you roll back to the first assault raid, I didn't have the flagship. I had 4 Manticores, and I was trying to use the Savage Kodiak to help. And there's no equivalent to an old flagship now that can really help you this time. So most likely, the economy of doing the elite targets won't be there unless they tune them down for the first month. If not, I'm probably going to fall back to the 80s. Yeah, but when the first month I thought was good enough to do the elites, it was like 6 coins per set. So what I'm trying to say with all of that is, if this new raid, in my mind, the elite target is due for 6 coins, even if it's like the friendly target 1 coin and the other 5 or 4, it might be okay. Because you do 2 targets, you get the bonus. Because the other option is you got to grind 4 friendly targets to get the same amount of points. If the points are kept as they are now, 2.5 million per target plus 5 million bonus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's why I put your little chart there as well, because there's the bottom bit at the bottom, mixed fleets. I'm still unsure about that, and I'm not going to endeavor into that area. The both fleets bit. And it's a big question mark, isn't it? Does it average out and that sort of stuff? But the thing is, with a 3-month cycle, and that's my concern, I actually don't see the worth in building both targets. You suffer through the first one, that's great. Hopefully on the second one, they'll put the first one's targets back in again. And worst case scenario, a little bit like I was saying when I hit the 65s, if I can get the cost-effective way of smashing out the Razortail target second month in, and I can do loads of them to get me the flagship, then I'll just ignore the bonus and just keep smashing and smashing and smashing and doing them quickly. And it could be more cost-effective. Could be.
If you have the seed time and not the coin, it's certainly more effective.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But you know, there are several different methods here, so don't think everything's lost if you can only get one type and that sort of stuff. So,
I mean, I don't expect many people to have a fully loaded fleet. I mean, only the whales, a few whales, will have one by Friday.
I've seen a few.
Well, I won't. I mean, I know I have some weapons, but I'm lacking armor, lacking a bunch of specials. But I mean, Friday will be a good experience to see a target. I don't know if it's going to be the razor friendly, the bat friendly, or a hybrid that's not friendly to anybody. But it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So we're good. That's it on this. So, you know, that's the third literally live show that we've talked, and sorry, 2 live shows and 1 obviously open mic where we've discussed probably more than we have in a long time about, you know, future content and that sort of stuff, and particularly about player choice for a change. We've actually got some that they're not going to show you everything because they want you to try and it's supposed to be a puzzle game as well as a, you know, a skill game. So the puzzles out there, we've been, you know, all been given a flavor. So we've got to make a decision on what and how. Think about how you play your game, and that's the important bit. Right. Okay. Let's move on.
Actually, I just had one quick thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if this was mentioned before, but I will say that I really like what Kick's put out on this, communication-wise, where they've given us all of this information up front, even before the cycle started and before the raid. So if it helped you influence which choice you wanted to do for the raid. So I do have to say props for that, and I hope that we continue to see this for the next round of the cycle as well.
Yeah. And if you remember, like 6 shows, 4 shows, 5 shows ago, whatever it was, remember I asked them to say, you know, could you just do a preview video with snippets? And there it was. You know, they are sort of listening. They are listening. I mean, not sort of. They are listening. You know, and it takes time and takes money to produce these things. So, you know, they're investing, I think, as well. There are lots of things happening at the moment, you know, including build time reductions and that sort of stuff. So you know, and skirmishers tokens coming up in TLCs. So we're getting there slowly, you know.
Yeah, you know, and having the free blank hole and having the strategy guide a month beforehand, you know, and now having a TLC, we'll talk about that in a minute, that has some generic skirmish tokens. And the huge, we're going to talk about that, the huge build time reduction. I mean, I'm very optimistic about PvE in a way I haven't been in a long time. PvP still needs a lot of attention, but PvE is going really well.
I've seen a few really large, big, as in old coiners that have come back for this raid, and they've been helped because they've had Skyfires, or they went and got the TLC and got the Skyfires, and then people were prepping for them and they managed to do well. And they've got one of the people that got the 1 billion points quit the game 2 years ago, and he's back, and he got assistance to get through. He's got the Skyfires. Had tokens obviously towards his mantis because he was given them because he quit for a while and that sort of stuff, and then bought the tokens, upgraded them, got the CIC, and then smashed out a 1 billion points in this raid. You know, that's what coiners do, massive coiners, and he did it.
If they're happy, they'll play and they'll spin.
Yeah, exactly that. And that guy hadn't played for 2 years. So it proves they're there. You know, you just got to make it fun and interesting, and people will do it. They'll pay for the game for other people to play free. You know, because it's interesting and it's enticing, and it's you know it's worth their investment. So anyway, right. So content update. Yeah, as Ren was saying. So build times, and I've picked out a few items on the next slide. I haven't got because the list was huge. Okay, so I've just picked out huge, as Robin always says. So a positive thing and the negative thing, I suppose, for people that used to play a long time ago, you used to get that third-party sort of pop-up advert in the top right-hand corner, and you clicked on it, and you had to like do some sort of survey or watch this thing and that sort of stuff. Basically, they've got rid of that because they said it introduces lag in the game and that sort of stuff. I don't know, it was a pay-to-play type thing, or whether it was, you know, they got a percentage back, but basically they said it's gone. So
yeah.
I haven't seen it new people's things for a long time, but
well,
you know.
there were actually people that are using it, but once the first time that you bought coin wiped that off of your link. So if you were somebody that ever bought coin, you no longer had the option to do the surveys, at least from my experience, to do the survey. So, but there are still, because I got a couple of cranky PMs today about it, there are people that still fund their game that way. But yeah, if it's a laggy thing, get rid of it.
Yeah, and you know, and I know it's a chuck away statement and that sort of stuff, but ultimately, you know, if the company is not seeing an investment in their return, and whether they pay the people to put that third party thing up onto their game and they're not seeing a return for their investment, why would you do it? You wouldn't do it. You know, I wouldn't do it. You know, I can't just throw money away. I'm not that sort of person. So that's gone. But the build time reductions is the most important thing at this moment, and I hope you can read that. But a classic example there, and that's why I've highlighted it, is the D5 CTX going down from 1 day 10 hours down to 15 hours. That's going to be massively different for us. Huge.
And that's the new one, right?
The D5 CTX, yeah.
Yep.
So you know,
that alone saves approximately 3 days. I mean, you do the math.
Per ship.
It's 19 hours per panel. 4 panels.
Yeah.
So I'm going to round to 20 hours times 4. That's 80 hours. So that's over 3 days. 3 days and 8 hours less in the ship build time per ship.
Yeah.
Those builds we've seen, all the screenshots we saw in the last few days, they were all between 15 and 17 days. You can just flat out do minus 3 days just on the armor now if you're going with that armor.
Yeah, which is grand, because you have just the armor reduction, and then we'll come to the TLC in a minute. You're going to get a free ship, basically. So not only are you getting a free blank hull, you're going to get a full build as if you never even got the free blank hull on top of that, you know. And I'm generally impressed, I have to say. I'm quite surprised. Yeah. That update should start kicking in literally 10 minutes. The build time reductions, when the game updates, it's supposed to be 4 p.m. Cali time, so which is midnight UK time. That should be happening.
So I said 3 days, 8 hours just on the armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So count with me. Advanced concussive payload shield, that goes on the battery.
Yep.
Nearly 3 hours shorter. CTX 3, 2 hours and a half shorter. So now that's 5 more hours already just there. What else? Where's the countermeasure?
Skirmisher batteries down there, mate, as well. The new skirmisher battery, 18 hours down to 13 hours.
There you go. Hyper 30 from 1 day to 18 hours and a half. So that's 5 hours and a half.
PBX payload, 18 hours down to 13 hours.
I think that's a key thing, you know, because normally when they've done these build time reductions, it's usually been like 3 raids worth of ships and tech ago. You know, it's
it's old stuff, right?
I mean, nice. Which is hydraulic resistors. Look, hydraulic resistors down from 18 hours to 14 hours. I mean, that's
4 hours and change.
So it was good for folks that were just joining the game, and this is what I posted when I posted on my Alliance page, was that this is cutting edge stuff that you're using for the next cycle. I really, really like this, and I think this is awesome.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done.
Sorry. I was just going to say, if you use hydrodynamic shells on your batteries, 1 day, 44 minutes down to 19 hours, right? That limited component reinforced ablative armor, which I'm planning to use, from 1 day, 8 hours down to 1 day, 38 minutes. So that's 7 hours and a half shorter.
Yep.
If you add all that, I mean, probably all the 6 specials you're going to put on your ship, at least 5 of them have been reduced. Right? And the armor, 3 days and 8 hours. It's easy 4 day less total on the ship build. So if your build right now saved on your shipyard has 15 days, it's going to go down to 11. If it has 17 days, it's probably going to go down to 13. Think about it.
You should be ready for the raid with 4 ships now.
With 6 FM tokens per week minimum, with 3 skirmish days from the TLC, with 1 blank hull free. Everybody should have 4. Everybody who got the ship in the raid and it's playing the game actively should easily now have 4 ships by raid time without coining a penny.
Yeah, they really want to. They really want to reset the raid system, and this is going to do it. Because most people, like I said, 34 people out of my 40 have got this ship and that sort of stuff. And now, without even have to worry too much, they will definitely be able to, as long as they play the game and collect all the things along the way, they will have 4 ships ready for the first raid. And even if they can't hit the top targets and they go down 1 level, then they can get themselves a flagship. And then they're done. So they're ready for the next one, the final one, which means they'll be up and running, which would be great. Which means then this fleet then will be the fleet to go and get your uranium later on when it comes to recycling those sites. So it's making the long game a good thing to do as well.
Yeah, well, you know, once people are able to start a new raid cycle on top of the game, it's very easy to stay on top of the game as long as you keep playing.
Yeah, 2 of my players this time, one got 300 million, most he's ever got because he managed to get his mantis up and running, and the second one got 200 million. And instead of asking for every single target to be given to him, he didn't need to. He actually got himself 200 million himself.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
had
working.
people, people in my alliance who were constantly in the past struggling to get points, needing help, and this time they were just like, boom, 200 million points on their own, never asked for help.
Yeah, and that's a big thing because people, you know, everybody makes snarky comments about, oh, people want to be spoon-fed. That's not the case. The average player wants to do it themselves. They don't want to be in a position where they have to ask for help. But if they don't, they get so far behind that they can never catch up. And so I'm happy to see that Kix is doing something to maybe put everybody, for want of a better term, on a level playing field for the next raid.
Yeah. So I'll just say quickly then, clearly this is just the top level. So I've just gone countermeasure equipment 3. 2 and 1 also get the reductions. So if you happen to have them, the list was massive. I want to try and it still is a bit busy. I just want to get it on one slide rather than doing reams of slides. So because we've got enough slides already as it is. So these are the top level ones, but the whole group, if you go to the forums and have a look, the whole group has been reduced. It's not just these. There are many, many more across the armors, and there's many, many more specials and that sort of stuff. So if it's got a level 1, 2, 3, 4, it's all the way from level 1 right the way up to level 4 sort of stuff, you know. So I only took out the lower numbers, but I kept the same, you know, the main armors in and that sort of stuff and the main items. So yeah, props. I'm well chuffed, I must admit. I mean, I think basically just giving them another ship. I think that's pretty cool. Right, okay, let's go straight on then. September FM update. This show will run on a little bit tonight, basically, because I want to actually, and we discussed it before we even started, because I've got a screenshot of my build, and hopefully, which is literally happening in the next 5 minutes, the game will start updating itself, and we should be able to see what the reduction in time is for that same build in a moment. We'll give it a go anyway. It might or might not work. But yeah, so FM update obviously kicks in. It will kick in and start again tomorrow, because there you go. That's week 1. That's Thursday, September the 13th. Okay. And then obviously we've got the 3 this time. So bear that in mind. And Ren's already talked about how many tokens. Keynotes then. The most important thing is that 1112 token, 1112 target is now gone. And so is the 103. I was never a fan of the 103, but the 112 was actually a pretty decent target.
I'm going to miss that.
Yeah, me too.
I never liked it.
I found a little sweet spot, and I managed to do a lot, and that was with just 4 ships and the flipping, you know, the Savage. But yeah,
I just threw my, and even with the Greta, just threw them in on auto while yakking on comms doing other stuff. I haven't physically been in or driven a FM target in months.
Yeah, and but yeah, exactly, and they're great from the app as well. So, but that's what it is. Away we go. So yeah, that's gone. A lot of people won't mind at all, because a lot of people didn't like the 112. So, you know, we have a replacement target for it. I'm not sure. I mean, it's worth, you know, 50k more, but I've not found the perfect place for that one. I have to go and do some playing. But anyway, it is what it is. And yet again, there'll be a leaderboard post 24 hours after the conclusion of each Forsaken mission, so that you can celebrate the top 10 players who didn't get enough tech before, so they've got all the tech now, so they've got the highest points or something.
People are saying, what's the point of that? And folks, there's no point. It's
medals?
just
What's the point of medals?
A bit of a stroke on the ego of some players if they feel that's important.
$1 billion in the raid, why would you do it? I don't know. Oh, well, this time is to get a skin. Who cares about that either? But hey, plenty of people do, so let them have their little moment. And if they get onto a leaderboard and they frame it and put it on their wall next to their toilet, you know, crack on. I don't care. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. If they want to get extra points and they're coining as well, then that's great, because it keeps the free people playing as well. So I'm up for that all the time. Rightio. Oh, look at that artwork. It's lovely. Right, here we go. First of the big prizes then. These are all 2 million point, by the way, 2 million in the top tier. So this is the Aftermath. This is the Brian turret, I call it now. I call it the Brian. It's brown as well. So Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah, people are always deriding Kixeye math and Kixeye math. So here's the aftermath turret.
The aftermath, yeah. It's like an aftermath class with Brian on a Saturday night, which really blows my mind, but there we go.
Yeah. Whenever you say Kixeye math doesn't make sense, just remember they're aftermath.
Yeah. So here we go. This is the long range one. Okay, then of that, obviously the radioactive series. Grab it. I think it's sort of hinted in the notes. It's 1 per week with a max cap of 8. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think that's as it's coming out. You can pick up one. I
thought all 8 would be there this week, and next week it's not there. So you got to score 80 million points to get it. No.
Oh God, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's not all around. That would just don't even go there. Otherwise, I might get the top score this week.
I'm just being sadistic. Kixeye would never do that to us, right?
Of course they wouldn't. Okay. Anyway, so obviously, in the little bit in the middle, it fires over a significant distance. You're not shitting me. Okay, it fires actually up to a range of 287. Sounds about pretty standard, doesn't it, really? Accuracy is only 60, by the way. Projectile speed, which you can boost, is 300. Reload time 7. Yeah, salvo of 3. So is there any splash? Answer, no.
And this turret is affected by fire support. All radioactive turrets are. So you can improve the reload and you can improve the damage by surrounding it with fire support.
Yeah. Place them carefully.
I need like 12 more warehouses, please.
Yeah, I know. It's getting to that stage, isn't it? Trying to cram all the buildings in the middle as well now and everything. So it's interesting. But yeah, resonance
and even if this turret looks weak, just remember that it buffs the new launch turret and it buffs the Phlogiston turret too. So, even if on itself it doesn't look great, but if you want to have a complete set of 8 radioactive turrets and you're missing them, some of these long range are kind of decent and keeps sloth drivers on their toes.
Very much so with that range, yeah. It's just another one, although there's more armor in the minute anyway. But there we go. Okay, so that is the limited prize for this FM series of this month. Okay, so yeah, look at the internal range, by the way, 125. So be cautious placing it in the right place because people will just nip inside and then smash it off. So don't stick it in the front line anywhere. Next, then, okay, I'm liking these picks. They're really good. Art team has done great. So the radioactive scope, interesting, this one. So range, obviously, the +9. So just like the pen scopes and the explosive scopes. Damage -35. What would you use this one on then? What do you reckon?
Only on one ship for one thing. This is the special you use on one ship when you want it to be a spotter for sloths. Right? So, or if you have a curator and you want to extend the range of that as a spotter for something else in your defense fleet. But that's what it is. It's when you're betting on minimum damage and long range, or you want to spot for sloths. That's the only use.
I don't know if it stacks yet, obviously, because it's not been updated the game, because there are some other things that extend radioactive range as well. So could be
should stack with that thrower special, because it's the only way you can get an Ifrit, for instance, with launchers over to 118 range.
Yeah.
You need it to stack.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah, it'd be interesting, I must admit. But there are a couple of defender holes as well. They've got some interesting ranges as well. So you could play around with defender ranges as well. So just bear that in mind. They're not the newest holes, but there are some out there that this could be quite interesting on.
Yeah, the old Vanquisher, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, have a play of it anyway. See what you think. But you can get some crazy ranges on some of these things sometimes, and this one is going to allow that to happen. Like, say, Vanquisher is a good example. But there we go. So it's another one. That's the sort of like next one of the set of these extenders. So that's radioactive, and then we've got this one here. So just to counter what we've had a minute ago, then. So this is the first of those plates that we were crying out for a little while back. So this is the XR plate 1 is out. So it's only level 1, okay. However, so there we go. Explosive, which we needed, and radioactive, which we needed. So at last, we've actually got something, and we can start taking off some of those weapons maybe. It is only level 1, and it doesn't give you a huge amount, but it gives you something. So low level repair time. Yeah, okay. The hint is then if it's an XR, that we'll probably get the rest.
And like people were doing very unnatural things with weapons to get deflections up.
All right. Okay. I wonder where you were going with that.
Well, your imagination took you there. I don't know where, but whatever
Hey,
you want it to be.
I live in the car.
No comments. I'm just saying you would need 2 cannons and 2 missiles from the tier 7 crop to get near that amount. Not even the same amount, but near, because each weapon gives like 106,000. So now you're saying this one armor, just one plate, will save you eventually 4 weapon slots from having unnatural weapons there that will not contribute to your ship damage output. Yep. Just because you need the deflection where you didn't have it. So that's a big help.
Yeah, I got a couple of holes that have got like people look at it and they're like, "Why do you have 6 different things on there?" And it's like,
exactly.
Look at the deflection. So you've got one ship that's got all of that out front, and now you can put that back.
Let me put a rocket and 2 cannons and 3 missiles, and then whatever. Oh my god! Oh, now I got the deflection I wanted, but my ship doesn't do any damage.
Yeah, Witch Doctor's a classic for it, isn't it?
Yeah,
really good ship once you put all the right bits on it, but mostly the right bits you need to put on it are actually all different weapon types. But then it becomes a very strong hull. But yeah, anyway, this is actually going to help the Witch Doctor a lot, actually, because Rad is one of the things it's a bit weak on. So
very much so.
So it's going to make and it's going to make it stronger again. So I'll be slamming this straight onto my Witch Doctors as well. So yeah, good, like it. Right, next slide. Yep, here we go. VXP weekend. It's this weekend. Well, I think you knew that already. Featuring new skirmish targets. Not saying it's the raid target exact, okay, but it is new skirmish targets and likely to have some of those things that we were looking at a moment ago. So that'll be fun, I'm sure. But at least we're getting the right type, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say.
Did they not include it about Defender VXP tokens?
Didn't. Well, I just chopped it about it. No words or anything like that. And normally the normal thing where they say, you know, the highest level targets there for the first sort of like 36 hours and the rest of them aren't. This was basically it. So I take it it's probably the same pattern, but we're just going to get a high level skirmish and a low level skirmish probably. I'm guessing.
Hope so, because that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm. You know, it is as well. But anyway, the most important thing is we're going to get to play with some new skirmisher targets, which hopefully will have the new kit in them. So we'll be able to go out and test our fleets that have got no armor on them. So, but at least we're able to see the strength and the speed of the ships and how they move, the cycles they move, and the way they sort of arc and that sort of stuff. Because that's what I like looking at and seeing the patterns that they, you know, so you know if you can outturn them and etc. etc. There you go. As boring as it is, but it has to be done. VXP. Right. First, the TLCs. We like this one. We like this one a lot. Even if you hate submarines.
I love this one.
It's worth doing if you hate submarines. This is the Liam 99 TLC because he's a sub fan. Right. Blast through price pack 1, 2, and 3 because you want to get the price pack 4 because as I've circled there as bright as I possibly could, there are 3 days worth of generic skirmisher build tokens.
And there's no limit on how many, well, there's a 99 limit on how many you can hold for the skirmish tokens. So
stack them and rack them. Yeah, so that's a good start. So thank you very much. I mean, yeah, there's Fangtooth build tokens and whatever, don't care. Okay, but the point is there are, unless you want to update your Fangtooths, because obviously, you know, there's you know, skirmish build time reduction things there, and if you haven't got some of this kit, then you can get around and do it much cheaper, much quicker as well. So, but at least, you know, skirmisher build tokens worth having and really enjoy it. So smash this one out.
Yeah, not much you can do to update your fangs because I mean we look at the new weapons, none of them are torpedoes.
I was just thinking maybe the armor or something like that.
Yeah, but, armor specials maybe, but there's really not much new for
there's
subs.
Not a huge amount, but
this skirmish cycle is not a sub cycle. It's Leon's friendly.
You know, very much so. I don't see any subs doing particularly very well. So it's going to be hunters, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, and don't quote me on that, but I'd be surprised. Seeing as we've not got any sub, you know, flat ships coming out of this cycle, it wouldn't surprise me if it's going to be, you know, hunter sort of, and probably tide seekers and that sort of stuff. Are probably going to be the go-to ones, I think, for the very low levels. I'm interested to see what the equivalent to the 45 is going to be and that sort of stuff, but wouldn't surprise me.
Folks in chat are saying that they're smashing this with the proto tide seekers.
Yep, it's easy.
I've got some of those. Something I can use them on.
It's really easy with prototypes.
Hey, I like it. I use your build on the uranium things. They work
I do a lot. Yeah, especially when you put the crew on. and you go and give uranium to all your ally mates.
You use whose build, TSMs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I just literally jump in there. I can do like 6 or 7 of them straight away, you know, and then just give off the uranium if they put the crew on, the uranium crew, and then they're full up in one hit, which is good. Righty-ho. Anyway, so there we go. Hidden Depths, smash it out. Those all start at the same time, by the way, so don't worry about it. And then there's a couple of others as well. So we've got obviously the Titan ones back again. No change. It's the same thing. But what's nice is, you know, get to price pack 2, and then obviously there's some tokens to do your upgrades as well. So if you haven't got everything on that you want to get on, or you want to do some refits as well, you know, put on that new radioactive range booster thingy, then obviously, you know, you can do it for free if you've grabbed up these tokens. So have some playing. So there's some build updates and upgrades and that sort of stuff. So what do we got next? Yeah, Hunter Games. Watch this one. I've even put a thing up in the corner this time. Don't you go in this one with Manticores, because it will end badly for you. All right. There are no skirmish tokens. It is what it says on the tin. It actually says Hunters, but if you want to finish off your Hunters, you know, that sort of stuff, then this is the one to go and get it. There's nothing new in this one. It's a complete rerun. Good for things like Apollos and good for things like Skyfires. Probably, I don't know about KDs. Does that work with these stunning drones? I've not got a KD, so anybody know? Don't know personally, but definitely not the Manticores.
No,
because it all goes horribly wrong very quickly.
Yeah, Manticore is bad.
Manticores as well. Okay, so that's just
no. Manticores are bad for this one.
Yeah, Manticore's bad. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the KDs though. So, but yeah. Anyway, so definitely Apollos, definitely Skyfires, and then go for it. But definitely don't go and put in the in your Mantis. Really, really bad idea. You get stunned and you can't chat that KD's definitely no good either. So thank you very much. Right, that's it for the TLCs. Just thought we'd flash this up as well. So, because it's good, because it's for 2 reasons. A, there you can see some transition between a 3D and just show what the art team are doing.
Is that a new missile cruiser?
But it's nice because or is it? Or is it a new missile cruiser?
It looks like the missing Defender to me, because it looks like a buff Vanquisher.
The Siren Hull, this one's called.
Because we know we're missing, like we have 2 defenders. It's missing a 3rd because each defender is good at 2 damage types.
And this could be the one that's up and coming, because we've got this, and then we've got a certain countermeasure coming in, and then there's another CIC, which is probably. And that's the same
thing. I mean, you now have in PvP 2 countermeasures, each one taking care of 2 damage types. So this is probably the countermeasure for the other 2 damage types. So expect scatterguns and concussive stuff to be countermeasure 2 now.
Yeah, so if it's not a missile, it's a new Vanquisher, isn't it? One of the other.
Looks like a new Vanquisher, yeah.
Anyway, the 3D artwork there is what by Alex, as it says there. It's pretty damn good. Quite like it.
They've done a really good job with the artwork, and not just on the hulls and stuff, but in the targets as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I have to say they've definitely stepped up their game massively, especially when I went back and reran some videos the other day, and I put it on our TFC page of, you know, basically BP the first 2 years, which is really funny because obviously Puddle Pirates and that sort of stuff, and I was laughing out loud, I have to say, when I was watching some of the stuff. When I think to myself, the game was excellent back then. I actually went back and looked at some of the stuff and went, maybe it wasn't. But
no, yeah. The visuals were not. But I think the mechanic and the free time we had to do what we wanted with the game was great.
Yeah, it was, because there wasn't much to do, to be honest. It was like build 1 of 6 ships and go out and try and hit stuff. So that was it, wasn't it? But
primarily hit each other and steal mines from each other and steal salvage from each other. That was it.
Try running in circles, trying to throw little black dots at each other. Yeah, funny. Anyway, so there we go. That's the hull. So that's the Siren Hull, basically. And then there's this here, which is I'm surprised it's a countermeasure, because I thought it makes an epic-looking gun. But yeah, sort of thing that goes in a big battleship, isn't it? So that's the countermeasure that's coming out. I take it it'll go onto that hull. It'll probably go on any of the defenders. So hopefully it'll go on things like your wardens and that sort of stuff. And there are a couple of behemoth ones out there as well that are great for countermeasures. So, and then there's this random-looking elusive CIC TAC mod thing, which I have no idea what it does, but it still looks quite funky and grey. So it's probably the same faction, to be honest. But yeah, but the artwork, yeah, I just thought I'd flash this up quickly because they do look pretty decent. I'm pretty impressed with those. Like it a lot. And that's me shrinking the pictures down because they were actually going to the forum. They're huge. Right, bug fixes. So, is it or isn't it? We'll soon find out, I suppose. Hyper 30 installation was not applying the splash damage reduction to the ships. Ooh, not good. Okay.
It never worked. I mean, I remember back in August, I spent Manticore tokens. I put Hyper 30 on my Manticores, on 3 of them. And I compared versus the 2 that didn't have it. And there was absolutely no difference. So I actually used more tokens to remove Hyper 30 and go back to what I had before.
Yeah.
Because it didn't help at all.
There's not if it wasn't known, because I remember you even telling people about that. So we did know that it wasn't working. You know, I know a lot of people complaining that, oh, well, I've just finished this raid set now. It's funny they're fixing it now and that sort of stuff. But we did know it wasn't working, you know.
Well, we knew from empirical evidence. Players tested and players said it doesn't seem to be working. I've been saying that since August. Don't use Hyper 30 because it doesn't give you the splash damage reduction. It only gives you the extra speed. And the evade, but the evade wasn't making a difference anyways.
Yeah, 10 evade, isn't it? Something like that. So.
Yeah, what kind of frustrates that Kixeye, I don't think Kixeye ever acknowledged that it wasn't working, except for Laredo on a forum comment somewhere saying, yeah, it's on the line to be fixed.
Yep, I read that as well, yeah. And that's the only place I saw it actually written down by anybody that had some sort of like, you know, a credible statement that I could believe sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Yes, so... and I took that as read then that in the day it isn't working. I definitely wouldn't fit it. But if it seems to be fixed, we could probably do some testing. Hopefully with a bit of luck anyway, and we'll find out. You know, especially if you go and start driving these ships into the SSRBs, you'd certainly know within no time at all. So you know that will give you a bit of an indication as well. Anyway, so the post-combat screen is basically not displaying on world map after defeating certain targets. Anybody notice that one? Can't say I have.
Oh, I can't remember which one it was.
So you're not getting the flash up basically at the end of it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's the splash screen.
Do you know? I really don't mind that personally, because you don't want to get kited, sniped, you know, that sort of stuff. Then that's not a bad thing. I know people like to know how far they've got and that sort of stuff, but you know, sometimes you know if you just battles engine, you can just drive straight off. I don't mind that. That'd be quite a decent thing to happen. And stop all those nasty snipers grabbing you. Anyway. Free instant repair from the map of fleets that is in dock was charging 1 gold. Yeah, that was annoying. Yeah. I've had that a few times as well when it should be free and it wasn't free and it's just goddamn annoying anyway. And another one where you fixed it on the sea, you sent it back into dock and it still said it was busted. Yeah,
and it said free fix, and you click on free fix, and free fix wasn't so free.
And wasn't so free, yeah. And then you put it back on the sea again and didn't press anything at all. And it said you want to launch it damaged, and all of a sudden it was fixed again on the sea. So, you know, bit weird. Good thing as well, the crew icon, it was missing, you know, in your fleet and that stuff. You looked in the bottom corner and you couldn't see it. It was in the bottom.
Yeah, you saw the timer, but it didn't see the actual crew you had.
Didn't show the visual picture of the crew. So that was done. And as ever, general bug fixes and performance improvements, which don't really mean anything, but we should ought to stop taking that line and take it out, actually, to be honest. Alice Clark. All is good and all is done. Right. Anything else you want to talk about, or has everybody recycled?
I've been recycling the game. I think they're doing the updates right now because it just disconnected chat. In the meantime, I just wanted to say there are 2 new offers in game. One of them makes me laugh because it's stupid, and the other is really good. So they're selling offer number 1, 2 times 12-hour ship build token.
Okay, yeah. For how much?
For $9.99.
Anything come with it?
But yeah, 2 Gale 3.
Oh God, you're kidding me.
So I mean,
wait
2
a minute,
times 12 hours, it's 1 day. 1 day costs 48 coins, which is $4.80. They're selling for $9.99. It's an offer. And somehow they say you're saving 50%.
So the draw is the Gales, isn't it? That's the draw.
How much are they going to charge for a Gale?
Okay, yeah, so that's ridiculous.
Which you can get in the FM.
Now, the second offer is the good one, where they are selling 2 times 1 day ship build token, plus 2 MDS3s for $4.99.
Is that the same as last time? 375 English.
I'm just logging in.
Yeah, I'm just logging in.
You can buy it 4 times if you want to buy. So you get 8 days of ship build tokens, and you get 8 MDS3 if you buy all 4 times, and each one is the price of 1 day of shipping expedited plus 20 cents.
I liked that offer.
That's a good one for people who want to coin, but the first one is just like someone taking a piss on your face and laughing at you, you know?
Yeah. I did a couple of...
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I did a couple of those the last time they came out because I wanted to put the MDS3 on my lead Mankara. And and I was short a couple of shards, so I said, well, bugger it, and I got that.
Yeah. So English price, that's £7.72 for the very expensive, I believe, Gale 3s, because the ship build tokens don't cost that much if you just go and get them, so don't do that. Look in your shop deal, see what's in there. And then obviously the 1 day ship build tokens times 2, and the 2 MDS 3s, okay, £3.86. That's a much better deal. And 4 times. Yeah, much better. The rest of it
now here's the thing, right? Just if people buy the offer. When you buy, you can overstack the 1 day ship build tokens. Because I think the limit's only to have 2.
Yeah.
But if you buy it 4 times, you're actually going to have 8. Yep. It's going to say 8 of 2. Meaning, when you do your FM, you cannot redeem. I mean, you can redeem the chest, but if you open the chest, that token goes to waste.
And then there's that orphan token in Prize Pool 3 too.
Yeah. So I did it the other way around. I did the orphan token, then I got the chest, and then I got the single day build tokens, which I got the 1 day first. Then I got the ones with the MDS 3s, which gave me 9 over 1, or 9 over 2, or whatever it was. So, and then waited until I used them up, which I've done to build obviously the new raid hull blanks, and then I opened my chest up afterwards. So, which I've done now. So I've literally just built the blank ships.
TSM opened his chest and felt the wind.
Or something along those lines, yeah.
I know, seeing all these posts for these people getting the unicorns where they're getting the 7 days, and I get all excited, and then every week it's 2 and 1.
I got the 7 days twice in my life since they started.
Twice in your life. This is your life. Oh dear. All right, I'm just trying to have a quick look and just see if design mode. I'm just gonna. Have you had a look yourself?
I'm reloading right now.
Okay, we'll have to keep looking. One thing I was just going to show when mine still says 15 days 9 hours. Right. Okay, let me shrink that down. The other thing I was going to show quickly because it's starting to take off a little bit is this. If anybody does or doesn't know what it is, so Kickstarter have started up a channel in Discord for those that don't know what Discord is, and basically it's an interactive sort of voice or type chat communication system, basically third party. They've got their own now. They've had some shortcuts to it and that sort of stuff. This is sort of what it looks like. It's great. You can go in there and obviously put your own game name in there. Now, for those, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, for those, look at the people in top right in red. That's Kickstarter themselves. You can see if they're online or if they're not online. You know, yeah, very similar to TeamSpeak. Thanks, Jim. It's good because if you haven't spent your $50, you can get to speak to a CM. Ta-da! And it works. Okay, and they actually answer your questions very quickly. It works.
I don't know. Looks like there's some shifty people in there. There's some guy called Alpha Wolf in there.
Oh, he's a dodgy guy. He is, yeah.
Oh, I can't stand that guy.
I'm telling you, man. I'm not going in there if he's in there.
I beg to differ. Oh dear. Anyway, oh look, there's some other shifty people. Look, I might be there as well. Look. Oh, look, Hefe's in there as well. So, look, there's a good thing where we can all come together and actually be in an area which has got lots of free little chat things, you know. So there's the raid stuff that goes on month. There's general discussions and that sort of stuff, and bug reports. Bug reports, it's working really, really well. It's getting answered really, really quickly. I've been keeping a good eye on this over the last few days.
The answer is always coming soon because they have a bot.
Yes, yeah, they do have a bot. But there's community media pages and alliance recruitment pages and that sort of stuff. And so far, the off topic is the funny room. I must admit, virtually anything goes in there. It's hysterical. You see the lighter side of the mods as well. It's quite fun. So can I post?
I don't care. All I care is that now I have a pink onslaught guarding my base.
Oh, have you got one now? The Rosa one, have you?
I did finally.
If I can find a link to the channel, if anybody knows where it is, then I'll post it in the chat here in a minute. But Ford, if you can find the link, mate. I know you're modding in there, mate. If you
Yeah,
can
I know
find
it's on our page. And it's
Yeah,
on the
Ford, do
forum.
something.
Yeah, Ford, do something. Stop just sitting there looking pretty in your mankini. Wow, dear. Come on, Ren, give us some good news. Has it happened yet?
What?
The update.
The update, has it happened yet?
No, I reloaded. Still the same 15 days. The chat's back on, but I don't think the update's completed. But
Okay.
I'll try
Anyway,
it once more. I think we should just call it a night.
yeah, we'll have to because it's getting late and someone's got to go work. Anyway, so that's Discord. It's on there. And Ren's found the link and it's there now as well. So there's another thing for you.
Somebody has to do the work, right?
I know. You have these guys. You pay them all this money.
I
And they
don't
don't
know
do the job.
Oh, there he goes.
There he
Now he
goes.
posts the freaking
He
link.
just copied and
Send me the
pasted
link.
your link. That's all he's done. I'm not having
Where do we pay these guys?
Oh man, right. That's it. He says 0 hour contract as it is. All right, not to worry. Right, good. We'll have to leave it to one of Ren's videos then to look at the ship build reduction overall concept. So tune in for that because he's bound to do a video because they're always really good. I've basically stopped because his always better than mine anyway.
No, I like your streams. You do streams.
All the streams, yeah, because that's just me talking, which is easy. I can do that. And if I get run out of words, which is very rare, if it's very rare that I run out of words, and if I do, I put some really dodgy music on as well. So, which Venom missed this time. He asked, "Where's the music?" Which was very funny. Right. And on that rambling note, I'll say goodnight. Thanks all for tuning in. Okay, I hope it was a worthwhile show for you. I think you should watch them as a select collective of 3 because we've sort of like talked about this new set of holes now quite a lot over the last 3 shows. And if you don't really know where you are now in the game, then there's no hope for you, to be honest.
There is no hope.
Hello, Ren.
Hello.
It's like some special needs kid. Take care. Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.